Before we get started, if you're new here, please subscribe to the channel. It really helps me keep sharing real, raw stories. And don't forget to share your thoughts in the comments. I want to know how you would have felt if this happened to you. It was 2:08 a.m. when I heard the car door shut in the driveway. Not a slam, but not quiet either. The careful kind of noise someone makes when they're trying not to be noticed and failing just slightly. I was already awake. I'd been staring at the ceiling since midnight, ever since Laura sent her last message, leaving soon. After that, nothing. 2 solid hours of silence. I heard her keys slide into the lock. Soft steps across the entryway. A pause while she slipped off her shoes. Then the slow, cautious walk through the dark house toward the bedroom. She was trying not to wake me. How considerate. What she didn't know was that I'd been awake the entire time, watching the little on my phone travel from the bar to another address I didn't recognize, and sit there for 90 minutes before finally moving again. At 2:09 a.m., 1 minute after she pulled into the driveway, I made a choice. I unlocked my phone, opened the Find My app, tapped on our wedding ring location sharing, and turned my location off. Not hers. Just mine. 1 tap. That was it. I locked my phone and waited. She opened the bedroom door quietly. I didn't move. I kept my breathing slow and even, pretending to sleep. She stood there for a moment, probably letting her eyes adjust. Then she headed to the bathroom. I heard the sink turn on. Makeup being washed away. Teeth brushed. The familiar routine of someone erasing a night they didn't plan on explaining before sliding into bed beside their husband. When she finally settled under the covers, she moved carefully, trying not to disturb me. She smelled like a perfume I didn't recognize, and something else. Smoke, maybe. Or the stale scent of a bar after last call. She'd told me she was going out for happy hour with coworkers. That was at 6 p.m. Happy hour doesn't stretch until 2:08 a.m. I waited 5 minutes. Then I saw it, the soft glow of her phone lighting up the dark room. She was checking something. I already knew what. Our wedding rings had built-in location tracking. We'd set it up years ago. So we can always find each other, she'd said. Convenient. Reassuring. Safe. Apparently, also useful for surveillance. The glow grew brighter as she unlocked her phone. Then I heard it, a quick, sharp inhale. She'd opened the app. She'd seen my location wasn't there anymore. I stayed still, my back to her, eyes closed. But I was listening to everything. She shifted slightly, the mattress dipping under her weight. I could feel her staring at her phone, refreshing the screen, checking settings, trying to decide if it was a glitch or something else. The screen stayed lit for a full minute. She wasn't calm. She was panicking, quietly, but unmistakably. At 2:17 a.m., 8 minutes after I turned off location sharing, she did exactly what I expected. She got out of bed. She didn't say my name. Didn't try to wake me. She just left the room. I heard her go downstairs. The kitchen light flicked on. Cabinets opened and closed. She was searching, for my phone charger, my laptop, anything that might tell her where I was or why my location had disappeared. I waited 5 more minutes. Then I got up and went downstairs. She was sitting at the kitchen table, phone in front of her, my empty location screen still open. When she saw me, she jumped. "Oh, you're awake," she said, aiming for casual and missing by a mile. "Yeah," I said. "Couldn't sleep." She gestured toward her phone. "Your location isn't showing. I was just checking to make sure you were okay." I looked at her. Really looked at her. "I'm fine," I said. I turned it off. The air shifted instantly. "You turned it off?" she asked. "Why?" I sat down across from her. "Why were you checking my location at 2:15 in the morning?" She hesitated. "I just noticed it wasn't showing when I got home. I got worried." I nodded slowly. "You got home at 2:08. You checked my location at 2:09. That's pretty fast to panic." Her face tightened. "How do you know when I checked?" "Because I turned it off at 2:09, I said evenly. 1 minute after you walked in. And you noticed immediately." She went quiet. "That makes me wonder," I continued, why checking my location was the first thing you did when you got home. She scrambled. I always check. Just to make sure you're safe. I shook my head. You don't check to make sure I'm safe at 2:09 a.m. You check to make sure I'm where I'm supposed to be. Those are two different things. She opened her mouth to respond, but I kept going. You were out until after 2 a.m. You told me it was happy hour. Happy hour started at 6. That's 8 hours. Your location shows you at an address I don't recognize for 90 minutes before you came home. And the moment you walk through the door, you check me. She had no answer. Just that look people get when they realize the thing they were hiding is suddenly visible. I wanted to see if you were tracking me, she finally admitted. Something inside me went cold. So you were doing something you didn't want tracked, I said quietly. She reached for my hand. It's not what you think. I pulled away. What I think, I said, is that you stayed out until 2 a.m. at an unknown location, came home worried not about me, but about what I knew, and panicked the second you realized you couldn't see where I was. I stood up. I turned off my location because I'm done being part of whatever system you're running. You don't get to monitor me while you're somewhere you can't explain. She started crying. Where are you going? I grabbed my keys from the counter. I don't know. But wherever it is, you won't be able to track me. I paused at the door. Feels different, doesn't it? I drove to my brother Mike's house and stayed there for 3 days. She called 46 times. Sent 83 texts. Every message some version of where are you? Or please come home or we need to talk. I didn't respond. I didn't turn my location back on. I let her feel what it was like when the person you're supposed to trust becomes unreachable. On the 3rd day, she showed up at Mike's house. I still don't know how she found me. Maybe she called everyone we knew. Maybe she drove around searching. But she couldn't track me, and that had clearly shaken her. We need to talk, she said when I opened the door. I nodded. Okay. Who were you with until 2 a.m.? The truth came out slowly. A friend. Innocent at first. Then not so innocent. She swore nothing physical happened. I asked why she was tracking my location if nothing was happening. She had no answer. I asked why she panicked when my location disappeared. She whispered, I was afraid you'd figured it out. So, I said, you were doing something worth finding out about. She couldn't deny it. I filed for divorce 4 days later. She claimed I overreacted. Said turning off location sharing was controlling. Said I abandoned her without explanation. My lawyer laid out the timeline. Wife out until 2:08 a.m. at unknown location. Checks husband's location at 2:09 a.m. Panics when location sharing is disabled. Searches the house for his devices. Admits she was tracking him to make sure he wasn't tracking her. The judge didn't hesitate. At 2:08 a.m., my wife came home after 8 hours out. At 2:09 a.m., I turned off my location sharing. 1 minute. 1 tap. And in that minute, she told me everything without saying a word. She didn't come home worried about me. She came home worried about what I knew. People with nothing to hide don't panic when they can't monitor someone. They trust. She stopped trusting me to stay unaware. I stopped trusting her to be honest. The difference was, I made my distrust visible. And that visibility terrified her more than any confrontation ever could. Sometimes the strongest move isn't tracking someone. It's stopping them from tracking you, and watching what happens when they realize the control is gone.